It means a lot, and it's something I haven't really put into perspective and thought about. Because as I said before, now we're still writing our story, and so I think in due time I'll be able to answer that in full entirety. But I like the journey that we're on right now.
It's a lifetime chance, it's you never know when it's gonna happen again. But it's the day we win it, speaking for myself, it's gonna be an amazing day of like realization of a dream. It's hard to put into words. It's almost like the meaning of my life.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Price Check Sports Podcast, brought to you by D in the Zone Network, where we go city to city, state to state, worldwide. NBA Finals are upon us, so of course, NBA Finals preview is necessary. We got a great series getting ready to start here tonight in San Antonio. Spurs will have home court advantage in that series, starting games 1 and 2 Wednesday and Friday before moving to game 3 here next Monday. But a lot to kind of digest with this series, a lot of storylines that go into it. So we're going to jump right in, man. Now, of course, I didn't get a chance to talk about the Spurs Game 7 win over Oklahoma City last week. This past weekend. But amazing game. Outstanding game plan by the Spurs, execution. And of course, Chet Holmgren went missing. So we'll get into the Chet Holmgren of it all. We dive into some off-season stuff because I know it's real, hot topic to put him in trade rumors, things like that. OKC not trading Chet. I hate to break it to y'all, but OKC not trading Chet. But that's enough for non-finals teams right now. So Spurs and Knicks are going to kick off game 1. Now, these two teams ultimately met 3 times this regular season. 2 technically, regular season games in the NBA Cup that does not technically count as a game on the schedule. Knicks won 2 of those. The Spurs won a game on New Year's Eve by 2 points. Crazy scoring output in that game. And then you ultimately saw the Knicks break the Spurs' 11-game win streak when the two teams matched up in the beginning of March. So, 2 teams that kind of went back and forth this season. Now, the Knicks, when they played the NBA Cup, which I believe was January, February, when they played that Spurs team, Victor Wembanyama was coming back off of like a minutes restriction. He wasn't all the way himself yet. They had just come off of beating Oklahoma City in the semifinal of that one. So a lot that was kind of going on to where I don't think that was quite the same Spurs team that we see now. And if we're being honest, we can really throw the regular season results out the window in general because neither of these teams were as good then as they are now, in my opinion. I think when you look at the way the Knicks have played this playoff, they are a night and day better team now than they were back even in March when they beat the Spurs. And I think the Spurs team has a level of confidence that doesn't even, begin to scratch the surface on the team that they are now compared to, when they last played in like December and January. So not even taking into account the regular season outcomes because at this point it is just, kind of, a futile exercise here. But when you think about what this series holds and kind of what, things are going to go into it, obviously people are going to start with Wemby. Wemby is an alien. He has landed. He has arrived. All of the ads, all of that stuff. New York City is the perfect place for him to go to as a visitor for this series, given all of the star power that he's carrying coming into it. But you also got a Knicks team that has not won the finals since 1973. I want people to really grasp something here. If the Spurs win the finals, it's going to be great. It's going to be ceremonious. You're probably going to get, Victor having a moment with Coach Pop. Spurs legends going to come back. Tim Duncan, David Robinson, Manu, Tony Parker. Those guys might come back. Well, maybe not Tony Parker. It's another story for another day. But you're going to get all of those guys to come back. Going to be real ceremonious. It's going to be real, family-filled type of, family-oriented type of celebration. If the Knicks win the finals for the first time in 53 years, forget burning down Madison Square Garden. Madison Avenue might be burnt down. You might not be able to get in and out of New York City for like 2 weeks. It is going to be a major event if they actually turn this thing into a finals win. given all of the history that we have with the Knicks. Even the last two finals appearances that they had. 1999 was when they really weren't the better team. They really didn't have the greatest chance in that series. But 94, when they went against the Rockets, they were literally that close to being able to pull that off. So I can only imagine, having this chance even 30 plus years beyond that. That Knicks team and that city is going to absolutely lose their mind if they find a way to pull off the win. Now, a couple different X factors that's going to go into this. Talking about Wemby, of course, the Knicks leaning on Jalen Brunson. We know what that's going to come with. Now, the Spurs team has some defenders to throw at Jalen Brunson, throw off his looks. They really don't have to send doubles his way or anything like that. All that stuff that the Cavs had to try to do gimmicky on Jalen Brunson to try to avoid James Harden getting on. Spurs don't have to worry about that. Now, what the Spurs do have to worry about, to me, the X factor for the Knicks is OG Anunoby. If you look at his games against the Knicks this year, specifically the NBA Cup game, not only was he able to get two spots and score, but he was also a sizable defender to throw at Wemby on different possessions. He was also a guy that's not afraid to go get rebounds and traffic, which you're going to need in a series like this where, you got Karl Anthony Towns, who's going to probably get in foul trouble at some point. You got Mitchell Robinson, who just had pinky surgery within the last week. So you're going to have to mix up those lineups, and you're going to need some guys that got a little bit of size to do it. So, having a guy like OG who's used to floating between the 3-4 and even sometimes guarding fives with the way that he's able to defend bigger players, OG's going to really be needed in this series, especially if the Knicks think that they can win it. He's going to have an outstanding series for them. You can throw in guys like Josh Hart, Mikal Bridges too, but I think specifically OG with some of the defensive matchups that he's going to have to take on, I think he's going to have some possessions where he's in Wemby's grill, or I guess in Wemby's chest, compared to being 7'5". But I think that OG is going to be the one that is going to be the extreme X factor for the Knicks. Because of what he can possibly do on the offensive end as well, given that the Spurs really don't have a great defender for somebody his size. So, OG is my X factor for the Knicks. For the Spurs, it's Dylan Harper. Dylan Harper is the cheat code for this team. Castle obviously has played well all postseason. You've had some games where De'Aaron Fox has kind of floated in and out, hasn't been his greatest self. But Dylan Harper, as young as he is, coming off the bench, he's really playing that Manu Ginobili role, and he's playing it well. You saw it against OKC to finish that series out. But if he's able to come into this finals and actually, consistently get to that, 12, 15 points, 4 rebounds, 5 assists, the Knicks don't have a lot of great answers off the bench to match that. So I'm very interested to see, one, even if, the Spurs maybe change the starting lineup to where they go with all 3 guards in one of these games. I don't think that will be the case, but I do think that Dylan Harper, in the times that he's on the court, is going to be an extreme X factor for the Spurs because of, one, his defensive versatility. He's going to spend some time on Jalen Brunson in some of these games. But also offensively, he gives them just another gear coming off the bench that this Knicks team doesn't really have, and really, frankly, a lot of teams in the NBA don't have. So, Dylan Harper, Spurs, X Factor. Now, I know everybody is, of course, looking for a prediction on this series. Now, again, I've already told you, Spurs win this thing is going to be just kind of your standard, return to glory type of celebration. Knicks are going to burn the city down if they win this motherfucker. Just telling you facts. I do think this is going to be a long series. I don't think this is going to be like Spurs sweep or Spurs in 5, and it's damn sure not going to be Knicks in 4 or 5. I know I also, I came out saying that the Knicks had a much better chance than people were giving them credit for. They've gone through, this playoffs and had a hell of a run. They ran through teams that they were supposed to run through and really handled their business in a championship caliber way. With all that said, Victor's an alien, bro. He's an alien. And he has a superpower that I don't think the Knicks are going to be able to combat, which is when you are on offense and you have to factor in your shot selection with Victor on defense, the shots that you can get that are good are just limited. They are. Even when he is halfway in the paint and you are shooting a three-pointer, He's contesting your shot. What are you supposed to do with that? So, because of that, I'm taking the Spurs. I'm taking the Spurs in 7. Again, I think this is going to be a long series. I do not think this is going to be just some we getting in and out of here quickly, sweeping teams or getting it done with a gentleman's sweep. None of that. I think the Spurs have shown this playoffs that they can respond to adversity, but I do think the series is going to present even another level of adversity, especially when you go into Madison Square Garden for games 3 and 4. Knowing what that crowd is going to be like for their first finals appearance since 1999, I think these games are going to be dogfights. You probably are going to get, a Spurs blowout here or maybe a Knicks win by 15 there, but I don't think you're going to have the same type of series we just saw the Spurs have with OKC where you have like a great game 1, great game 7, and everything in the middle is just blowouts. Don't think that's going to be the case. I think styles make fights, and these two teams, the way they played this postseason, I think it's going to make for one hell of a fight here for 7 games in the finals, ultimately being won by the Spurs. So, that's the prediction. That's the preview. The NBA Finals are here, and it is a great time to be an NBA fan. So, until next time, of course, y'all know where to find me. Like, share, subscribe here on the Price Check YouTube channel, at Price Check Pod on all the socials. But until next time, we'll come back here probably between games 2 and 3. Check in again, and then hopefully again before we get into game 6 and 7 if we can get it that far. So, till next time, I'm your host, Josh Price, Price Check. Check it out.